Magandang umaga, tanghali, hapon sa lahat ng tagapagsubaybay. Welcome to our TQM podcast, a total quality management. I am your host, Kathleen Vendencia. Our next guest is a very successful business owner and she owned the Espinosa Mart in Cebu, Zamboanga del Norte. So she is a business administration major in financial management graduate. So nagamit to niya ang kurso, no? And she started her grocery store a decade ago. And now, last March 8, 2025, she successfully opened her second branch located at Barangay Putungan, Dapitan City. Edukada na, may diskarte pa. So dapat maningkamot yun ang tanan. Di na kayo nato ni tason. Let us all welcome Miss Karen Espinosa. Magandang umaga, Ma'am Karen. So first, I would like to say thank you for saying yes aning podcast. And busy kaayon siya ni hatagan dito ag oras na ma-share sa niya ang iya story, life story sa iya ang pagkanegosyante.
Good morning, Ma'am Kat. Isa kada kong pribilehyo nga ako imong naplian na interviewon sa kadagang negosyante diri sa atong mo.
Ready na ka, Ma'am, nga i-question and answer portion. So karon, Ma'am, kumusta man ang ato ang negosyo?
Sa pagkakaroon, Ma'am, medyo hinay jud ang negosyo pero nara pod ginagmay nga masulod. Nga igura pod makasurvive. Dili sa tanang higayon, hindi sa palit na ako ninyo kay.
So ang ato ang number one question, Ma'am, is what are the biggest challenges you have faced in running your grocery business?
In running a grocery business as an owner, the biggest challenge that I face every day is the constant changes of the product's price due to competitors' goals to gain more customer.
So nindot kasad nang naatay mga competitor, Ma'am, no? Kay aron na challenge sad ta, no?
Yes, of course, Kate. Normal legend na may competition.
So ang ato ang next question, Ma'am, is how do you handle competition from a larger grocery chains and supermarkets? So since wala tay dako-dako nga wandere, wala tay mga supermarket ug unsa lay naa sa ato ang palibot nga mga sari-sari store or mga pareha kadako sa imo ang negosyo.
I handle competition from larger cuts of grocery by listening to my customers' daily needs and maintaining a friendly environment and affordable price.
Importante jud ay pod ang customer service sa ato ang negosyo, Ma'am, no? So, what strategies have helped you attract and retain customers?
The strategy that helped me attract and retain customers is by making my grocery store as a one-stop shop. Hindi na ka makapalit sama sa bugas, frozen products, fish meat, goods, and other daily products that customer needs. And of course, pangmasa nga presyo since naata sa bukid na part diri sa Zamboanga del Norte.
Ingon ana din na siya, Ma'am Cars, no? So, how do you deal with fluctuating food prices and inflation?
As an owner, dealing with such inflation, first, mangita dito sa ubos-ubos nga presyo sa supplier. Ang ikaduha, o ang pinaka-importante, ang pagpalit, dapat cash kay makalas ka kay mahatag man na sila o discount. At the same time, ang presyo nga akong mahatag sa akong mga customer kay ubos-ubos rapod na igorap na makaginansya po ko nga di ako pumalong.
Sa diskarte ra jud na siya, no? Kay dili abi kay taas atong inflation, ang mga negosyante lugi wan man ni sila madiskarte. We find ways. So sa atong next question, Ma'am Cars, is have you faced any difficulties in finding reliable suppliers o paunsa sa nimo siya na overcome?
Yes, I face any difficulties in finding reliable suppliers. Nakatry ko nga ang product na diyata sa supplier kay kulangan. Siyempre, sa next kumpa, makapangita dyan ko supplier na dayon, i-check dyan ayo if complete or di ba ang imo ang madawat na product. Dapat as an owner, as owner, dapat vigilant kita sa atong pagpangumpra.
Ma'am, alagi ma'am no, kay kwarta baya na, dili ba na kay piso ra. Milyon ang imong pagpangumpra. Dayon ma'am Cars, how do you manage cash flow during slow business period?
To manage it, I set limitations of my outgoing money and spend it wisely. Not matter, I give you the assurance that the profit is percent.
Bisan pa di ay ma'am no, kung dako imong ginansya or gamay imong ginansya, ang atong cash flow dapat ato jud siyang i-daily log, i-monitor nato ni siya kada adlaw.
Yes, ma'am. I-monitor jud nato.
So next ma'am Cars is how do you prevent losses due to perishable goods and spoilage?
By making the product safety placed in the fridge and ensuring all their stocks will be sold first to avoid being perished.
Have you ever had to take loans or seek external funding? So if so, how did you manage it?
Para sa kuha, as much as possible, dili na lang sa jud mangutang para i-add on sa kapital to prevent future problems. Kung isa pa, dako-dako jud og patong ang mangutang.
So dili na tinuod ma'am nga kapag negosyante ka, dapat dako kag utang.
Para sa kuha, ma'am, depende ra jud na siya sa mindset sa negosyante.
So what pricing strategies have helped you stay profitable while remaining competitive?
Para sa kuha, gamay ra jud akong markup. Igo ra dili malugi kay aron dali ra or pas-pas ang halin. Bahala ginagmay basta kanang
Applicable po din nga saying ma'am.
yes, pero dili sa tanang panahon.
How do you handle supply chain disruptions and shortage?
By making enough stocks that can withstand a couple of weeks so that the sale is untouched even if there are disruptions.
So naara po'y panahon ma'am nga mahutdan jud mo.
Medyo'y time nga mahutdan tungod kay ang supplier wala pag slice na.
What steps do you take to reduce waste and maximize product shelf life?
To reduce waste and maximize product shelf life, I ensure that the product is well placed and away of dust and direct sunlight to avoid deformation.
So makadaot gyud ay ang kung ano kanang mababad siya sa kainit.
Yes, ma'am.
So Ma'am Car, how do you decide which products to stock and which to remove?
As an owner, deciding which product to stock and which to remove is a must to avoid stagnance of profits. I must stock product that customers always use to buy and remove products with a little sale to better use the space.
What technology or systems do you use to track and manage inventory?
I use barcode scanning to track and manage inventory because it helps me automatic tracking and real-time updates of inventory.
Dili ba ni siya lisod nga kuan ma'am pag-track sa inventory?
Kira ma'am kay naka-system man siya.
Last question, Ma'am Karen. So, have you faced issues with supplier reliability and how did you address them?
Yes, nakatry ko, nangumpra ko, kulang nahatag sa supplier. Dili siya ko inside, sayang sa akong nabayaran ng sayang resibo nga gihatag sa ako. Akong gibuhat is i-confirm na ako si supplier in a good way. Find out na kulangan jud ang product nga gi-release sa iya ang worker. So, dili jud malikayan nga masayop ta usahay maong if mahitabo in ani na case, dili lang pud ta mangisog dayon. Ang ato lang i-verify para pud fair sa both parties.
Thank you so much kayo sa paggahin sa imong oras, Ma'am Karsnog. Salamat jud kayo nga imo kong gipaunlakan ani nga interview.
Salamat pud kayo, ma'am, hinaot nga namoy makuha sa akong mga tubag.
Hi everyone, welcome again to our podcast. I'm the partner of Ms. Kathleen Vendencia, Gregg Solamillo. Our next guest will give us an insight of how to work virtually and the aspect of being a virtual assistant. Our next guest is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Accountancy in St. Francis College on year 2023. She is an accounting and administrative staff of the Dipolog City Water District on year 2022 to year 2023. She was also a bookkeeper, a part-time worker in the Orchid City Alliance Preschool Center, and a customer service representative on Qualphone Dumaguete on 2024-2025. Please welcome Ms. April Reina Tabamo. Hi, Ms. Tabamo. Welcome to our podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and thank you, by the way, for inviting me for this podcast.
We are very glad that you are here and you are part of our podcast. Now, let me ask you about the total quality management regarding to your work. So first question is, how do you ensure the quality and the accuracy of the task you perform as a virtual assistant?
Alright, so we are talking here about quality and accuracy, and I believe that whatever work or job are you right now, quality and accuracy is very important, and I recognize that one as a virtual assistant working at WorkPad. And to ensure this, I always begin with carefully reviewing any task instructions and clarifying any uncertainties with the client, of course, before starting. I also use tools like Google Keep or Notepad to break tasks into smaller pieces or to organize my task for the day. And after finishing a task, I double check my output for errors, proofreading, and of course, attention to detail. And I also developed the habit of using quality control checklists tailored to each client's preferences, which helps minimize mistakes. And overall, I regularly review past errors or feedbacks to identify patterns of mistakes and prevent similar issues from occurring again.
In accordance with ensuring your accuracy and the assurance for the quality of your work, what are the steps do you take to continuously improve your performance and productivity?
Alright, the steps at WorkPad, we encourage to take ownership of our growth. So I proactively seek feedbacks from clients and team leaders to understand where I can improve. And of course, I believe that there's always room for improvement. I analyze my own productivity trends using tools like Time Doctor, which helps me identify when I am most efficient and when time is being lost. And based on these insights or feedbacks, I've adopted productivity strategies such as also using Pomodoro techniques, if you are familiar with that, task batching, and digital minimalism. Additionally, I participate in our company's ongoing training webinars, and I allocate time weekly or daily to learn new tools or enhance my skills. For instances, improving my Excel capabilities or learning automation using Zapier. And this continuous improvement helped me stay competitive and reliable in delivering high-quality virtual support.
Now, in the area of feedback, is there any queries or grievances from your client that you handle, and how would you handle it, and what changes did you make?
Alright. One instance that stands out is when a client mentioned that my meeting summaries were lacking important action items and deadlines. There are details that needs to be improved also. And I appreciated the constructive feedback and immediately scheduled a follow-up call to better understand their expectations. After that one, I revised my note-taking template to include the specific sections for action items, the one that they wanted or according to their preference. And I also made it a practice to send a draft summary right after each meeting, and that gives the client a chance to review it and make quick corrections. Over time, this improved not only the clarity of my notes, but it also strengthened communication and trust with the client. And these experiences taught me that feedback is not all about criticism. It's a tool for refinement and embracing that this is a core part of the TQM mindset.
So in the area of total quality management, it emphasizes the customer satisfaction. So how do you ensure that your client are consistently satisfied with your service?
So at WorkPad, client satisfaction is at the heart of what we do. And I make sure to establish clear communication from the start of any engagement, setting expectations, confirming deadlines, and of course understanding the client's preferred communication styles because it depends from client to client. I also set regular check-ins, especially during long-term projects. And I proactively suggest improvements or any alternative methods that could make the operation smoother.
To ensure the efficiency and effectiveness of your work, how do you prioritize a task when supporting multiple clients or departments?
So with regards to working with multiple clients, of course, it requires a strong grasp of time management and setting a correct priorities in terms of that. And at WorkPad, it's a good thing that we emphasize transparency. So I make it a point to notify clients in advance if there are any delays or any shifting priorities. This not only helps manage expectations but also builds a long-term trust. And additionally, I leave buffer times between tasks to accommodate urgent requests without disrupting the flow of the scheduled work.
So if possible, if it's okay for you to share it, what are the tools or the system that you use to maintain consistency and to avoid errors in the daily tasks?
If you are really looking for specific tools, what I usually use to maintain consistency is the Excel. And I also like to use Google Keeps or again notepads. And here again in WorkPad, we are encouraged to document our processes, our systems. So I maintain a shared folder of the templates and guides for every client. This also reduces variability and ensures that even if I'm not available, someone else can maintain the same level of quality just by looking at the processes or the systems that I use.
So the tools and the system that you usually use is the Google or the Google platforms that the Google Meet. Okay, that will be so much informative. May you describe how you manage quality and communication, both, if possible, both in written and verbal, when interacting with your clients or with your team?
If it refers to a written communication, I always take time to read and understand the full context of the messages before replying to it. And I structured my emails and messages with headers, bullet points, and summaries to make them easy to scan. I also proofread everything before sending it. And also in terms of verbal communication, especially during our Google Meet or Zoom meeting, I prepare agendas ahead of time and take note during the call to ensure accurate follow-ups.
So in the area of improvement, what did you do to improve if you identified a problem in a process you were involved in?
Yes, I once was involved in a situation of having confusions, and there were frequent delays and confusions due to unclear task updates. And this one, I took the initiative to analyze the workflow and found out the root issue was a lack of standardized documentation. So I proposed a solution. It is a shared digital tracker with timestamps, task status updates, and priority labels. I created a template, tested it over a week, and then presented it to the team. And after implementing it, the transition between shifts became seamless and task duplication decreased significantly.
In your daily routine or daily workflow, how do you incorporate clients or team feedback into continuous improvement?
So every time I receive feedbacks, whether it's a positive or a constructive one, I treat it as a data point or a way for improving my processes. I keep a feedback journal where I log client preferences, notes on task revisions, and comments about communication styles. And I revisit this journal weekly to spot trends, and I also can identify habits if there's any change. For example, one client mentioned they preferred weekly updates instead of daily check-ins. So I adapted that one, my workflow, and now send consolidated weekly report every Friday or every end of the week.
So here in the area of Total Quality Management or TQM, it promotes the teamwork and collaborations, as we know. So as a virtual assistant, how do you contribute to a team culture despite on working remotely?
So here in WorkPad, it's a good thing that we are an office-based role. So we don't work remotely, and that's also an advantage for us to really collaborate and do works on a team basis.
Oh, okay, I see. We thought WorkPad offers a remote work system that their employee will be work from home, and then they will provide a gadget or technologies to have them work for them. So as you said, it is a work office or in an office-based environment. So you do incorporate collaboration and teamwork in your office, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, that would be nice. Thank you so much, Ms. Tabamo, for your time and informative discussion in this podcast. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Tabamo, for accepting our request and guesting to our podcast and for that precious knowledge that you share with accordance to virtual assistant. Now, I will give the floor to my partner, Ms. Kathleen Vendencia. Please take the floor.
Thank you so much, Sir Gregg, for that wonderful Q&A. So I hope naasad na sabtan ang tanang naminaw ani nga podcast no. So I think this is the end. Bye!